I was just looking on the internet right now. And I saw that it's 41 degrees back in Vancouver. So how does that feel to be here in sunny Mexico?
Very,
Terrific.
very good.
Absolutely terrific.
Big change from being back home in the
Can't
cold
be
weather.
better.
Okay, all right. How does it feel to be down here as far as being in Mexico as opposed to being back in Canada right now? How do you like Mexico?
Well, I might say I've been coming to Mexico since 1961.
Since 1961, wow.
Yes, 2 years before I got married.
Uh-huh.
And I would say since then I had at least 50 trips to Mexico,
Wow.
maybe more. At the beginning, when money was tight, was maybe once every 4 years. But
Right.
since we joined the Exotic Club, we come down here at least 3 to 4 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, we like it.
Okay. Any other thoughts you have on Mexico that you'd like to tell the folks back in Canada? Or?
Well, the weather is usually very dependable. First of all, speaking in generality, the Exotic Club or many of the more upscale resorts, you're absolutely safe. You're very secure. Your money, your person is secure. As a dog judge, I traveled all over the place, all over the world fairly well, and I would say Mexico is Mexican people are one of the friendliest, and that makes a vacation not only safe but very enjoyable.
That's great. So you're a judge for different dog
Yes,
shows around
yes.
around the world, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, I'm what's called an all-round judge. I judge literally all over the world. Monika has just started off. She's an American judge,
Okay.
and we both judged in Mexico. Remember that was in February. Both Monika and myself in Mexico City, and the other thing I have to say about the resort, if I give a little blog.
Yeah, tell us what you feel about what do you think about the resort?
Okay. Well, first of all, call a spade a spade. You get the biggest bang for your buck, as we say in North America. It offers you very, very good food. This particular Exotic Club, of those 5 hotels. Some of the hotels are children friendly, other ones for adults only. They have about as good a food, and we do places that are a lot more expensive, like the Rio Palace and so on.
Okay.
But I prefer it a lot more. They're a little smaller, more personalized service, better food, less money.
Right.
Great, great staff.
And
Absolutely.
that's one thing, the staff, and that's one thing. I think it's a Mexican-owned hotel, if I'm correctly.
Excuse me?
Mexican-owned.
It's partly Mexican,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Yes.
you can all the people they hire, and that's it. There seems to be in any one of the hotels, and I've been to almost all of them. That's almost the key thing. The staff they have, they bend over backwards to make you stay enjoyable.
Right.
If you need something, just a couple of days ago, because what happened in our family, my grandson was rushed to the hospital, and anxiety was thought I had a bit of a heart attack. They did everything possible. Fortunately, it wasn't, but the effort was there, and that means a lot to
That's
anybody.
great.
The other thing is the food is excellent. All the drinks are free. You have 1 drink or 5, they don't care as long as you behave yourself. If you have 1 dessert or 4, it's all paid for. So
Right.
what more can you ask for? The rooms are clean, exactly, not just clean, very clean. I can't say the prices enough, and I keep coming back. As a matter of fact, we signed up a couple of years ago, and it's been very, very well. We like so much the upgraded when we go to a higher plateau of services and so on. And again, they treated us very well. They were very reasonable price-wise, and being in Mexico, we even had an ability to part about the price a little bit.
Let me ask you this: your members here with us, okay,
Yeah.
in Exotic Travelers. How long have you been members?
About 3 years.
Tell us. There was a little story about how that came about. How
Well,
you
it was
became
actually
members with us.
funny because we've been to Hawaii, we've been all over the place, and many times when you go somewhere, they ask you for joint timeshares. And I listened to a few of them and I just didn't like it.
Right.
So originally, when we went to the Seaside, which is one of the resorts here, one of the ladies that talked to Monika tried to talk into it. It was very negative toward it because I thought it was just another gimmick to sell me timeshares and so on. A couple of days later, I happened to sit at the bar, swimmer bar, had a drink. I met a fellow, Muslim fellow. We talked about it. He was with United Nations in Vienna, where we came from. So we really had something in talk. And he told me that the day before he went to the he signed up right away.
Right.
And the more he talked about it, the more I said, well, one of these days again, my wife had a good idea. So the next day we went. And the more the person talked, first I feel like it was negative, but the more I talked about it, and the more I realized what's available, and there's so many options I can go in with, it takes hours, the more that I wanted. And we did, right at that spot. We signed up for it, and never regretted it. As much, obviously I did because I upgraded just today.
How many, you've been a member for how long you said?
About 3 years.
And how many times have you used it over the last 3 years?
About 10 times.
About 10 times. And I was also told you have a family member that's...
Yes, my daughter, we brought her along. It's actually a little funny too because and her family. When I came home and told her what we did, as most children, they gave me that, like, oh yeah, there goes my dad again. A little negative towards it. I didn't say anything and so on. But in April, this April, I invited her and her husband and 2 children to come with us. And guess what? After being here for 4 days, they went to the same seminar. They immediately signed up. So probably mom and dad weren't as silly as everybody thought we were. But I freely admit, I gave the same look to my parents when I was young. So, since I've been here, like within the last couple of days, probably Monika more than myself, spoke to several people, and today some of them already signed up or were talking about signing up and so on. So obviously it's something which offers a lot. May not fit everybody,
right,
but for a lot of people, particularly who want that type of environment, I can only highly recommend it.
So you would recommend this to friends and family?
Absolutely.
Anybody, everybody.
And
anytime.
regardless if they became members with us or
Doesn't matter.
just staying at our resort, you would recommend?
Absolutely, because it has everything you want. Obviously, if you want to see the Eiffel Tower, you're not going to find it here, then go to France.
Right.
But if you want a nice, peaceful vacation that offers you a lot, particularly for the price they charge, that's a place to go.
Can't beat it.
You can't beat it.
Right. Okay. What would be one of the main reasons that led you to become members with us? What would you say that was the key factor? That you said, yes, I want to do this, I'd like to become members?
Well, because as I said to begin with, it's the biggest bang for your buck. I mean, there's no way, and as I think I've been to Mexico so many times, I've been to the Rio Palace, which is more expensive.
Right.
You're talking about a hotel that has over 1,000 rooms. You don't get the services you get at a resort like that. You can't. You
Right.
can't have 1,000 rooms with possibly 2,000 people compared to an area which is maybe 400 or 500.
Right.
So immediately the service is better. The food particularly, and I picked that particular resort, is the El Dorado, the Royale. I mean, they have one restaurant there, and absolutely, the food is good all over, but that is a superb meal, the Kampai. Again, you go in there, they very quickly get to know you. After the second time, before we even sat down, they already know what we wanted to drink.
Right.
Those little touches, that they mean a lot. And after seeing that for 4 or 5 days, when we realized what the cost of signing up, we did.
Okay. In closing, is there anything that both of you might want to say about maybe the resorts, about Mexico, your experiences you've had here? Is there anything you would add to what you've already, all the findings you've already said?
The best place you can possibly go to.
It's a beautiful place to go, and that's all I can say for the vacation. It offers many things, and to me, one of the most important things is obviously the safety of my family and myself, good food, friendly service, and get what I'm paying for. And in that case, I feel I'm getting more than I'm paying for. So what more do you want?
How's your Spanish?
Poquito.
Poquito?
I should learn more.
Okay. Do you know how to say goodbye in Spanish?
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. Okay, folks, so this is Hasta luego from Cancun, Mexico.
So long, guys.
Salon.
Well, you heard what I've said, but before I finish off and say goodbye for the last time, I want everybody to know what I've said I really mean. I didn't get paid for it, I didn't get any extras, there was no exchange of any benefits, or I asked for a good looking girl, I even did get that. So those are really my own feelings, and my wife is here to back me up on it.
Okay.
So no pesos.
No
No
pesos, no
pesos.
girls, no tequilas, no nothing. Those are my own personal feelings, and I stand by them. And
And so do I.
thank you. Buenas noches.